Welcome to Type C Tech Reviews. Today we're going to be doing a review of the AOC 24G2. I'm going to go over the pros and the cons and my own real life experience, and if you're looking at the 27G2, this will be the same review because they are the same panel, just bigger. And if at any point during the video you want to check out this exact same monitor, I'll have Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada, but let's get into the first pro. But jumping right into the first pro, that's the design and build quality. This thing looks really nice, and it's built very well, especially for the price range, which is very budget friendly. This thing looks really nice with that 24-inch 16:9 aspect ratio with the really nice thin bezels on three sides. All right, now this is a 1080p IPS panel with 126% of the sRGB color space, which means you got really good color accuracy and you also get really good viewing angles, which is something that you're not gonna get from a VA panel. This is absolutely massive to me. Yes, this is a budget monitor. However, you're still getting an IPS panel, which is very important to me because you get that really good color accuracy, you get really good viewing angles. This also has 1 millisecond response times with 144 hertz, which is pretty basic numbers, but for this price range, again, they're good. Now, let's move on to the next pro. This thing is absolutely amazing for fast-paced gaming. So if you're somebody who plays Warzone, any kind of FPS shooter, it's good at other games, fantastic for other games, but especially for fast-paced gaming because this thing has absolutely no ghosting, which is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking a very budget-friendly monitor, and there's like no ghosting at all, which is something that if you get a VA panel, it's gonna have ghosting. All VA panels have ghosting. Some of them have more than others, some of them have less than others. However, this monitor being an IPS panel, even IPS panels do have ghosting. However, this one is like almost none. This is on par with my $1,000 LG UltraGear Ultrawide, which is like a super premium ultrawide monitor. This ghosting is on par with that. There is no blur. It is so good. So if you're somebody who plays a lot of fast-paced games, this is gonna be fantastic for that. This thing also has FreeSync Premium, which is compatible with NVIDIA graphics cards, which I think is like general knowledge, but I know some of you guys may not know that. So if you do have a GeForce GTX or an RTX, FreeSync is compatible with NVIDIA GPUs, so you'll have no problem no matter what graphics card you have. All right, now let's go over the ports. This has two HDMI 1.4s, a DisplayPort 1.2, a VGA, and a 3.5mm audio out. Now, that's pretty basic ports. It is funny that they have a VGA. I don't know exactly why they have that, but if you guys are somebody that uses VGA over a DisplayPort or HDMI, then you do have that. All right, let's move on to the next pro, which is the stand. This is a massive pro for me. They did such a good job with this stand. Now, we're talking not a huge price range, so it's really unheard of to get a stand like this. It is super adjustable, it's very high quality, it feels nice, and it looks nice. It has a black, silver, and red theme to it. I don't think it's too in your face. Some of you might think that, but I think it looks nice. But this stand is so far above any other monitor I've used in this price range, it's ridiculous. So it does height adjustability, so you can move it up and down. It feels very nice. It doesn't feel cheap. It then can also tilt. Now at this point, some monitors will have the height adjustable and tilt, but this thing rotates 90 degrees, and a big thing for me, it locks in places. So you can put it in between, so if you want it kind of angled, you can do that, but it will lock 90 degrees. So if you just want it to be like perfectly straight, it'll lock into place, and then if you want it 100% up, straight up, down, vertical, it'll literally just lock in that position. And for somebody that has kind of OCD, I prefer that so much more over anything else because I'm never gonna have it at like kind of a half tilt. And besides that, it also swivels. So they have a ton of customizability with that. So right out of the box, you're not getting one of those cheap stands that just doesn't move at all. Now, I don't really typically have a problem with that, but this is just a massive pro because, again, this monitor is not super expensive, and you get this, which is typically only on premium or semi-premium monitors. This is actually the first stand that is this nice in this price range that I've ever seen. All right, now let's talk about weight. The panel itself weighs 6.5 pounds, and with the stand and the panel, it weighs about 9.37 pounds. Now, this is really important because if you do want to mount this on like a monitor arm, it's gonna be really inexpensive to get a monitor arm that's gonna be able to hold this thing up because it doesn't weigh very much, just because it's a small monitor and it's built well. Meaning that for well under $50, you could probably get one for like 30 bucks, 35 bucks. You're gonna be able to get a monitor arm if that's what you want and mount this on your desk. And you could even get a dual monitor arm and get two of these monitors. They're cheap enough where you could do that. and that will be a heck of a setup right there for really not very much money. All right, now the last pro is it does have a VESA mounting on it, but it is 100mm by 100mm, which is a big pro for me because it's not that 75 by 75mm. It's much easier to find nicer monitor arms and things like that that are 100mm by 100mm rather than 75. A bunch of monitors that I've used that are 24 inches, they typically go with the 75 by 75mm. I prefer 100 by 100mm. So that's a huge pro for me. Let's move into the con. There's only a single con with this monitor just because it ticked a ton of boxes for the price. And this might be a deal breaker for a lot of you, and that is the brightness. This thing is not insanely bright. And in fact, if you have a bright room, you're not gonna wanna get this monitor. So if you do typically game in a dimmer room, if you do have the blinds closed, if you're not having direct sunlight, this would probably be a great option. And honestly, during the evening or the night, I had absolutely no problems with the brightness. It's just during the day with the windows open, it's not the brightest option out there. And that's the only con. But again, look at the price of this thing. It's absolutely insane that this thing even exists with all of these features and the stand and literally having no ghosting. It's ridiculous to me. I absolutely love this monitor for the price. Again, guys, if you do want to go check out this monitor, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, and Canada. I will have both the 24G2 as well as the 27G2 because they're relatively the same monitor, just the other one is a little bit bigger. Now, I did this review because I know a lot of you guys cannot afford these $350 monitors, and it's harder to find a really good, cheaper, more inexpensive monitor. But if you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out, help me out and throw a like below. And if you enjoy monitor reviews, definitely consider subscribing because I do a ton of those on this channel, the review guide. But this was that is not my channel. Haley, I literally said your channel. I literally said if you enjoyed the review guide. But this was Type C Tech Reviews, and I'll see you guys later.